Welcome back to another episode with Behind the Scenes with Execs. Before we begin, please remember to like, subscribe, and switch on your notifications so you get the latest information. Today we are joined by Liesel, who is the Director in Joburg North and West Rand. Liesel, please introduce yourself to us.
Good morning, yes, Jolene. I'm Liesl Janse van Rensburg, Executive Director for BNI Joburg North and West Rand, and I've been in BNI for 17 years. Started out as a member and followed the journey.
Well, you mentioned now that you've been part of BNI for very long, but I also know that prior to being the Executive Director, you had a different role. Please tell us a bit more about that role.
Before being the Executive Director, yes, I actually had quite a few roles. But right before that, I was a Director Consultant Area Director for Johannesburg North and West Rand, and I helped and supported the region in different levels.
What inspired you and what made you say yes to becoming the Executive Director?
Cut, but it's not a wrap. I'm Alkin from Meta Creative Lab, and we are the sponsors of BNI South Africa's podcast. Like you can see behind me, we've got a podcast set up for podcasts like BNI South Africa. So we want to encourage you, if you want to start a podcast like this one, get in touch with us, get in touch with our team. We're part of the BNI network. We would love to receive your messages on alkin@metagrp.co.za. Okay, back to the show. Cheers.
I think I started aspiring to become Executive Director a while into my journey in BNI, but I think it's all about loving the BNI system. I absolutely love everything about BNI. And I remember the first conference I attended in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Ivan Meisner was here. It was in East London. And we had the opportunity in groups of 10 to meet all the international speakers, to a 10-to-1, if I can put it that way. And one of the questions that was put to Dr. Ivan Meisner is, what does Givers Gain mean to you? And I remember the way he explained it, how he saw it. That was the moment I bought into BNI, and just everything about the organization is something that aligned with what I believed how things should be done. And I fell in love, and that's where it started and just grew from there on, and up to the place where I said yes for every opportunity to grow and take on a leader role, to the point where I'm now Executive Director.
You have one of the biggest regions in the country. You've got 600 members. How does that influence your leadership styles, dealing with different leadership teams, different members, different cultures, different personalities and attitudes towards BNI?
That makes it so much fun. I think if it wasn't for that, I think that is the most fun you can have in BNI, is the fact that you're dealing with so many different personalities. And it's not only the people. If you think about a chapter is its own personality. How you deal with one chapter is not how you would deal with another chapter. So through the years, what I had to learn is look at the personality, whether it's a chapter you're dealing with, a director consultant you're dealing with, a member you're dealing with, a group of people you're dealing with. And even though I have a set standard of values that I subscribe to for myself, you deal with each of those personalities in a way that they feel comfortable. Well, that is what I had to learn, and I'm still learning. I think it's an ongoing process. I definitely haven't perfected it yet. And I love it. That's the learning opportunity for me, and I love that about BNI and the opportunities I get.
One of our core values is lifelong learning,
yes.
And you just said that you continue learning.
Yes.
With that and your own set of core values, with this big region, what is a complete non-negotiable when it comes to leadership team change?
To leadership team change. Interesting. I think when it comes to leadership team change, and this is also something that changed over the years, it is slowly but surely bringing in a little bit of my personality into the region as well. I think that's necessary sometimes. You have to be true to who you are to lead effectively. And I think one of the non-negotiables for me, for leadership, and I think in any way or form, whether it's a director, consultant, or leadership team of a chapter, is why we do BNI. And that is, we're here to help and support our members to grow their businesses. And that is where our focus should always be. So that to me is a non-negotiable always.
Being in the role that you've been in for so long and being part of BNI for 17 years, what is the biggest advantage you think you have because being so long in BNI and only becoming an executive director now?
I got to know the system really well. I think I won't ever say I know everything. One thing that I've learned is there's always something new to learn. And even though I think BNI fundamentally has through the years remained the same, it is changes and adaptations that happens. And through the years, I've seen those things happen, and learning from them, learning to adapt, and getting to know the system really well. So it is easier to help and support my members because I was a member myself. I started a journey in a core group. So understanding their challenges, understanding how BNI operates, to me, I think that's one of the biggest benefits I have being in BNI this long.
We're hosting the conference in your region this year.
Oh, yay.
In a couple of months' time.
Jeez.
And there's one thing that I think you set out very differently from the previous conferences is that you're driving your own region to be there in numbers. How do you think that's going to affect your culture in your region if they arrive in their numbers and not outshine, but dominate the floor being in your region?
Well, we are Johannesburg, North and West Rand. I think our members seem to be very loud and proudly BNI. I think it would be good for them. I think it would be good for our members to see. We know that we are the biggest region in the country just by default because we are the economic hub of the country. I think that makes it easy. But I don't think they always realize the impact that they have on the organization. And conferences over the years being far away, few of our members attended, so they didn't have that experience. And I think having it in our backyard and them being there in big numbers and showing the rest of the country how we can network effectively with each other, I sincerely hope that it will encourage them to participate more in BNI, to become more involved in reaching out to other members in other regions and even other countries for that matter. I hope so.
Over the years, BNI has developed quite a bit. I remember when I was a member, we used to have little slippies where we wrote our referral slips on. And then BNI Connect came in and we could do that on the app and we didn't have to fill out those little slips. What other big inventions and innovations that BNI come out with that really impressed you that you wish, either if it's not there anymore, wish was still there, or you wish to see more development so it will not just ease our journeys in BNI, but bring more value to our members as well?
I think the great thing about BNI, yes, we have the core value traditions plus innovations, which I love. I love the fact that we stick to the traditions. And that is what makes BNI fundamentally always stay the same, even with all the changes and adaptations that has happened. It has always been the same. But yes, there has been these big changes. And I think one of the big ones came when we had to go online. To me, what was fantastic about that is showing the world that it's actually a small place. We always learn that the world is your oyster, but I think we don't think about it that way. So coming online gave our members the opportunity to network to other countries, make it easy for them, which I don't think they realized previously. So I think that was a huge one that made a big difference. But interestingly enough, it also showed that the fundamental way of doing BNI in person is still the most effective way of getting it done, isn't it? So it is a little bit of a two-way answer where, yes, there has been this big change, and I think it gave our members fantastic opportunities. But I like the fact that we don't forget the old, the things that have worked over the years and is still working. And then all the changes in BNI has been superficial changes, if I can put it that way. It hasn't been a change to BNI. BNI has always been the same. It's always about the members growing their businesses. The changes are, as you said, making our lives easier. Yes, BNI Connects. I also still remember all the slippies. We still laugh about them. I always tell the VPs, be glad it could have been worse. But it's networking internationally, I think, is what is going to be important for our members now. And everything that can make that easier, I think would be a great innovation.
You are a firm believer of networking, not only in your circles, but regionally, worldwide. I know you have speed networking events and green clubs and things like this. What would be one tip that you can give a member of doing one of these speed networking events and what to learn from it and what to take from that experience so that they actually can connect with the people afterwards?
I think be open to meeting new people, not keeping to the people that you already know. Even online, where you're forced to meet new people because you go into a breakout room and you don't always know the people that will be there in the room. But I think sometimes our members stick to the people that they know. And then also they stick to selling themselves. They try to sell their services. So I think if I can give a member one tip, it is reach out to as many people that you don't know, especially in a speed networking situation. Make sure that you make those connections. Make sure that you don't stop at that session, but actually get that connection and take it further later on. Do that one-to-one online if you have to do it. Do more than one online one-to-one if you have the opportunity to get it done. But don't forget about those connections that you make and those opportunities, and use that then to connect with other people even further from that. I think, that would be a great one.
We have leadership team changes twice a year. And a lot of our new members think that they are not ready, or they won't do good in that position, or something in that line, because business owners are scared of taking that next step because of the responsibilities. What would you suggest is the easier leadership role to come into to build you up to one day being a president?
That's an interesting question. I would usually go for take the most difficult one and everything else becomes easier. That's just how my mind works. I mean, if you get that one done, then you would be fine. I think any one of them can be easy. I think that is also a personality thing. I know most people think that visitor host is the easy one because you can come in, you can just sign in. But if you think about it, for an introvert, that's a really difficult one to do.
Yeah.
Some people might think education coordinator is a really easy one because you get the material, you can just share it with the chapter. But then if you think about our members, most of our members being small business owners are not natural presenters. I take myself when I started. Presenting in front of people is a scary, daunting thing. So once again, depending on personality, that can be a scary thing. But I think at the end of the day, those two still remain a gentle way of easing people into leadership roles.
What keeps you motivated and driven to manage these 600 different personalities that you have, growing your region and still having time for your family?
The easy and short answer is my faith. The longer answer is those set of core values that I have that are non-negotiables to me in any way, in any place that I do my life. And the fact that I absolutely love BNI. I love everything about BNI. I love the fact that we have so many personalities because it gives me the opportunity to learn from other people and to grow personally. And I can't think of any other better reason to keep on doing this.
We were laughing about it over the weekend, both of us 7:30 on a Saturday morning doing BNI admin, chatting, sorting things out. What would you say a member should do to set those boundaries, not to fall into the trap of doing too much BNI and not enough in their business?
Yes, I think that is important. We tend to, and I think that is what happens with all of us when we become part of BNI and you really understand the system and we all tend to fall in love with the system. And then it becomes easy just to keep on doing it, doesn't matter the time of day. But I do think those boundaries are important. So this year for myself as well, I've set those boundaries. I will work up to a certain point and no further whether the work is done or not, just to have those boundaries. And I think for members that is also important. You know how you can do life. You know where your family fits in, where your hobbies fit in.
Yeah.
And make sure that you don't compromise on those rules. I think we love rules, whether we deny it or not. But if you think about it, the moment we set those boundaries, if we stick to them, everybody tends to listen to that. So if you tell members, I'm only available for one-to-ones between this time and this time on those days of a week, sooner or later members fall into place and they accept it. They don't have a problem with accepting it. But stick to those things, be consistent in how you do it, and I think it can work. But have those boundaries, I think, is very important.
Thank you very much for your time. It was lovely chatting to you. And that's it with Liesl Janse van Rensburg.